Hey guys, this is Matt with BleepinJeep.com, and we are about to install this bumper from JcrOffroad onto this Jeep Cherokee, so stay tuned for that. But first, check out my website, BleepinJeep.com. We've got the best off-road videos on YouTube. We also have hats and t-shirts, stickers, and other cool apparel, so check that out, BleepinJeep.com. Do check out this bumper and more armor at JcrOffroad.com. Alright, let's get started. Alright guys, so the first step is to remove your stock bumper. Now I've got a detailed video on that called How to Remove Your Stock Jeep Cherokee Bumper if you want to look into that or if you need more help. But in this video I'll just go over the basics. So the first thing you want to do is remove the 6 bolts. There's going to be 3 on this side, 3 on this side, right here that attach to the frame. Also there is a vacuum canister right under here. You want to make sure to unbolt that before you take the bumper off, because it's attached with some hoses, and we're going to relocate that vacuum canister. So right now I'll remove this and then I'll show you the rest. The vacuum canister has 2 bolts on the passenger side, here and here. And with a 15mm socket you should be able to reach right up in here and get to those 6 bolts to take the bumper off. Alright, and if you got any lights, you'll want to take care of those before you go and pull this thing off as well. Alright, now you should be good to yank it off. There we go. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is relocate this vacuum canister. You're just going to remove it from the line. You can leave it down here, but for right now we're going to take it off. I'm going to relocate mine into the engine bay, but if you want to put that back in the same location, you can do that after you get your bumper installed with some zip ties. And we're also going to clean up any wiring mess, and we're going to get that up and out of the way so it won't be a problem for the bumper install. Alright, so here's what you should have now. You're going to have to remove some of this rubber stuff that lines your fender, but depending on what you want to do with your Jeep, you might not want to go overboard. Now this one is destined to be a rock crawler, so I might as well just take it all out, but for now I'm just going to trim it with a knife just about right here. There we go. Now I'll remove that as needed, but keep in mind that keeps the mud out of your fenders, so if you take it all out, you're going to have to be cleaning up in your fenders quite often. Alright, so the next step is going to be to remove this little fender support bracket right here, and that just holds the bottom of the fender, and we're going to be cutting that off anyway. You also might want to remove this little skirt up here. That's just kind of for decoration, but we're going to go ahead and remove that too. Alright, so there's 3 10mm bolts, and that bottom support bracket comes right out. Alright, now we're going to take the horn and just get it out of the way. You can kind of bend it back, push it up, do whatever you want to do with it there. And now it's time to cut the fender. Alright, so it's only the 96 and earlier models that you need to cut the fender. The later models are already cut right there. So for this one, I'm just going to take some masking tape and we're going to tape it off. We'll need to cut a straight line across from this edge all the way out. Alright, so I'm ready to cut off that fender. Now you can use whatever tool you like. You can use an angle grinder, you can use air shear, you can use a blue sawzall, a green sawzall, you can use a Dremel tool. So I think I'm going to try this method, see what happens. well that didn't go perfect, but let's see how it looks. Not too bad. Alright, so now I'm going to mask it off again, except this time I'm just going to leave about a 1/4 inch there at the bottom of that where we cut the metal. And then everything else I'm going to tape off, and then I'm going to go ahead and spray paint that black just so we don't get any rust or anything there. You could also get some of that door trim from Walmart or wherever and stick that on there if you'd like. Alright guys, so once you get that done on both sides, it's now time to install the bumper. But before I do that, I'm also going to install these. These are Uniframe tie-in brackets, also by JcrOffroad. And what they do is go right here and they tie in your bumper to the frame and make it much, much stronger. If you're going to have a winch or if you're going to be pulling on your bumper, you have to have one of these because these 3 bolts are not going to be strong enough. I'm also going to, at the same time, install this. Now this is a spacer for your steering box. It goes on the opposite side here. The one that's in there is aluminum. It tends to crack when that happens. It can be disastrous. You don't have steering. So JcrOffroad makes this steel one much, much stronger, and it's not going to break or crack. So I'm going to install these, but I'm going to do it on a different video. So if you need instructions on installing these, make sure to find that video and check it out. Alright guys, now it's almost time to slap the bumper on. Now like I mentioned, I'm using these Uniframe tie-in brackets. Now JcrOffroad makes their bumper just wide enough for these tie-in brackets, and if you're not going to use those, they also give you these. These are spacers, and if you're not going to use these tie-in brackets, you'll put the spacers right here and then slide the bumper on. Now you're going to need a helper for this probably. I'm all by myself, so let's see if I can get this on there. Alright, so it might be necessary to leave some of these brackets a little bit loose so you can get all your nuts and bolts in there. I've got this inner bracket loose back here, and now if I can just get the nuts on the back here. Okay, now I've got all 6 bolts in there. Now I just need to figure out the angle that I want it at and the height. So I put a jack under here. I think I'll just jack it up into place. That ought to do it right there. And then I'll bolt all the bolts down and make it solid. Well, there you have it, folks. Now I can finally install my greatest invention ever, the tailgater combobulator. That's kind of high. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something today. Please do check out JcrOffroad's website at JcrOffroad.com. There you can find bumpers, armor, all kinds of other goodies. Do check out my website, BleepinJeep.com. We've got the best off-road videos on YouTube, none of the boring stuff. Got hats and t-shirts, muffler bearings, stickers, all kinds of great stuff. BleepinJeep.com. Do subscribe to both of our YouTube channels and check out our Facebook pages as well. Alright, we'll see you next time. Oh, shit! It's gonna blow! It's gonna blow!